We're going to start with the equations of circles, and this is the last section of this unit, 9.6. Actually, that's not true, 9.7. We're almost there, 9.6 is this one, and you all might need a piece of paper to write a little something down on. If you forgot to tell you that earlier. We're going to be going back to rectangular coordinates. Back to graphing with graph paper, okay? And those graph paper will be provided for you on your homework. And sometimes they'll be things on graphs, right? You're going to learn about the equation of a circle and how to graph them. The center of the circle is at h comma k, and you'll want to write that down. H comma k, I would do something like circle, and I'll put it like center, and then h comma k. Right. Maybe put that at the top of your assignment or something, okay? The radius is going to be marked as an R, okay? R for radius, okay? So here is a diagram here. I have a circle. It's at some center HK. Right now you could count these, but we're going to right now just say it's generic in HK. The radius is shown, and its radius comes out somewhere on some XY point out there, okay? HK's there. If I wanted to find an equation, I'm going to do that with a distance formula. And the distance formula, we're going to use H and K and X and Y. You guys have memorized this for your Mad Minutes. You can watch this or write it. It's up to you on this point. So if I use the distance formula and I plug in the H and the K into the distance formula, I'm going to go X minus H for the first here and square it. That's going to go for my distance formula. I'm going to take my Y and my K, and I'm also going to subtract them for the distance formula, and it's going to be a square root, and R is the distance, because that is the radius, is the distance, okay? I am going to get that square root off of there by squaring both sides, and I'll have this, and that is as far as we're going to go. The equation of the circle, you memorize something else in a moment, and I'll bring that one up. But the one that, if your radius is somewhere, you can find your radius by taking your H and your K right out of your formula. And if you know the number out here, you take the square root, you'll know your radius. So I'm going to just, again, if you knew these numbers, you can have your center automatically. If you know that number out there and you take the square root, you'll have R. There are sometimes, though, that this can be even further simplified. If your radius, your center is at 0, 0. If your center is at 0, 0, then these numbers go away. That is gone, and that is gone. I shouldn't have put X's, because it looks like if those will be out of the way, then I will just have X squared plus Y squared equals R squared, and that is what you were memorizing for your Mad Minutes. X squared plus Y squared equals R squared is what you memorized, and that is an equation of a circle if the center is at 0, 0. If you want to write this, you'll need, and this you'll need. So you'll need these right here. The things you'll need to make sure you remember is this and this, especially since you wrote H and K was the center and R was the radius. You might want to say something about 0, 0 being the center. Oh, I love that. This looks like an owl to me. Right there. Cute little owl. All right, that is going to be the center. I'm going to move that over a little. And C for center. Noticing that the X squared plus Y squared equals R squared is where the center is. Are there any questions so far? This still might be a little fuzzy because we haven't used it yet. For me, when I'm learning things, all this stuff doesn't make clear until I do some problems with it, so we can gain some practice with it. So let's do some practice with it. You can watch this, or you can write it down. This is optional, all right? I want you to give me the center and the radius. I put those things as a reference. All right, so where is the center of this circle? We said that the center was
X minus 5 squared?
Almost. The center is just the H and just the K.
So 5, 1?
I heard 5, 1. How do we know? These got negatives. How did we, why it's not, say that again?
That's just part of the distance formula.
Oh, so the negative, or the minus is part of the formula. So we don't have the negative when we do our h and k. That is correct. My center for this is 5, 1. But what about the radius? The radius is out here. And how is that related? Almost. R squared is out there. So what is R that made, how did we decide that?
Square root of 4?
The square root. So we take the square root of this number here, and we'll have a 2. Let's do some more. All right? Let's do some more. I'm going to reiterate what we just did. The center was 5, 1. The reason is because we take this number here and this number here, we put it in there, and we take the square root of the 4 to get 2. Okay? Let's do another one. What is the center? I'm going to let you write this one down. Don't speak out loud. I want you to have a chance to do this one by yourself. All right, what's the center?
9, 7.
I heard 9, 6. But last time you told me that the negative is part of the formula. We have to have a negative that's part of the formula.
Oh, so it's negative 9, negative
So it's negative 9, 6. So how can you remember last time up here it was 5, 1. This time I have, because it already had the negative. This time has a positive. So how are you going to help yourself remember when I use a negative and when I don't?
If you add it, or if you add an equation to negative on the,
It's the opposite of what's there.
yeah, it's opposite.
Okay, so you could do it Amy's way. If it's a negative, you put the positive. If it's a positive, you put the negative. Or you can say, which is the same thing as saying, you take the opposite of what's in there. If it's a positive 9 in the formula, it's a negative 9 on the outside. Positive 6, negative. What's the radius? 5. I agree. It's the square root of 25.
Question.
Yes.
In our homework, if we get a decimal, what place do you want us to round it to?
I don't.
Square root of 118.
You're going to just write the square root of 128 and then simplify it. Okay? Take out your partners and so forth. All right, let's do. It was negative 9, 6, and positive 5. By the way, the radius will never be a negative. It will always be positive. All
What
right.
if it does happen to be like negative? Like what if? Like what do you do if it turns out to be negative?
It won't-
If your
it won't.
answer's negative?
There is no way you will have a negative radius on a circle. That would be impossible to have a radius with a negative.
So it's
circle
like they're
negative
not
radius.
going to put like a negative 25
They're not.
there.
That's correct. They're not.
Okay.
All right. So now this time, I'm going to give you the center and the radius, and I want you to give me the standard equation for a circle. You know no other kind of equations than the standard one. So I want you to give me the equation now that I give you negative 5, 4 for the center, and 3 for the radius. Give me a hands up when you have that. When you have something for that.
Wait, the standard equation for a circle?
You know no other thing except the standard one, so no
with
stress
the
about that.
center. Okay.
I've got one person who knows an answer.
Hold on.
Okay, so I'm gonna write here. I'm gonna put an X. And what am I gonna put for? Is it gonna be plus or minus here?
Plus 5.
Plus 5.
Plus 5, and don't forget your squareds. This is a plus automatically. And then Y, plus or minus 4?
Minus.
Minus. And what am I gonna put out here?
9.
9. Very good. All right, very good. That is very good. All right, we're going to graph this now. You can just watch this because you won't have graph paper on your. So I'm going to graph this, and the first thing I'm going to do is find the center. Where is the center?
Negative, positive 3, comma, negative 1.
Okay, what's the radius?
Wait, is there
2.
Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put points on those centers. So you have the graph. Find the center. Here's the center, and it's a little teeny bit off. That's okay. It's at positive 3, and these are by halves, so that's why 3 and then negative 1. Okay. Then the radius is 2, But because they're by centers, you're going to go 4 radial points. So you're going to put a dot. Here's 1 and 2. You're going to put a dot out there. And you're going to come out 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2. You do not have to draw these parts. Just the dots. And I'll put them out there for you. Then you can sketch. This is going to be different than getting your straight edge out. Then you're going to just sketch around.
So it doesn't have to be perfect.
It's not going to be, yours is not going to be perfect. The things that I'm looking for when I'm grading it would be that you have a center point, you have your 4 radial points, and then you'll have a sketch on the outside. Okay?
So we don't need to use our compass?
You could use your compass if you wanted to. That would be fine. Yeah. If you wanted it to be, that would be nice. Yeah. But I'm not going to require that. Okay? All right. You have compasses, I guess. And you're going to use graph paper automatically because it'll be provided for you on your homework. Here we go. I want you to take a stance now. A geometry take a stance. This is a geometry take a stance now. I have an equation. I want you to tell me which one's the correct. A, we'll call it A or B. I want you to...
B.
I got B. Who says... Anybody say A? Ever said B? Both of it? Okay, so B is what you guys decided. All right, let's catch you up for a little bit. So the reason we say that it's... we think that it's B is the correct answer. We take the opposite right here. That's a positive 5. Negative 5 is here. Okay, so we take the opposite of that one. And we take the opposite of this one. Negative 1 is positive 1. And then we take the square root of that one for the radius to be 4. So we take the opposite numbers for the center and the square root of that one for the radius. All right, here's another geometry take a stand. I want to know the equation for this. Take a stand. Is it A, B, or C? How many know the answer? All right.
Yeah.
Is it A, B, or C?
A.
It has to. The only one that can be because of the 81.
Yeah.
Because of the 81, we're going to have to. But let's make sure. Why is there nothing with a parentheses?
This is a 0.
Because it's a 0.
That's right.
All right, here we go. Let's do some of your homework problems. All right, we need the center and the radius. So I have C for center and R for radius. Your center is going to be an ordered pair, and your radius is just going to be a number. What is the center for this? 0, 0, that little owl thing.
Oh, so, okay. I just did X, comma, Y, but it would be 0, 0.
It was 0, 0. That's
Oh,
correct.
that's fine too.
Yeah, I did X, Y.
But 118, what do we do with that?
Square
Take the
root.
square root of it.
But
Now, I'm going to have to...
Can't be
It can't be.
Is there something that can come out, though? Like, can we do a little factor tree?
2 and 59, but that
2 and
doesn't help.
59, is that it? Okay, so
Yeah,
it's just square root 118.
Right. Yeah, 118.
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to go on to number 3 next. All right, now we need the center and the radius. Center is going to be an ordered pair. R is going to be a point. What is the center for this one?
Negative 411.
I heard negative 411. Is that correct?
Yes.
What did you get for the radius?
2.
Very good. All right, let's go on.
28 can't be a perfect square root.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so number 5. It first tells you up there in the instructions to identify the center and the radius, so you're still going to have to do that like we did on numbers 1 and 3. So what is the center for this?
0,
0, 0. And what about 28? Can we do a factor tree on 28?
2 square root 7.
Yes, because it's 2 times 2 times 7. So it's 2 radical 7. Now do me yourself a favor. You're going to need to give me this one for that, but we also need a decimal for that when we graph. So if you'll give me the decimal value for 2 square root 7 or square root 28, but either one. Give it to me just one, like something and one decimal. 5.3 I heard.
Is that rounded?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember I told you when you're graphing that I need the center. So here's the center. And we're going to come out 5.3. That's 5 and a little bit more and not 0.5, not half. So we're going to come out here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit more. And I'm going to take off that piece. Okay, and then all of those around. So we're going to go 1, undo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a teeny bit more. But not quite half, right? Because we don't want to go half. And this is where your little sketching can come in. You're going to do your best to just, from there, you're just going to draw.
Just draw a circle.
Just draw a circle. You can use your compass if you want, but I'm going to just come in here.
I'm not going to.
Just give yourself a curve. Make sure it's not flat. Don't do straight lines. Okay? This is a circle, so curve yourself out.
Curve and it ends up looking like a straight line.
Just curve yourself out. Okay? I left holes. You don't have to leave holes, but my colors will go on top of each other. So just make your dots or your points on your radial points out there. Make them big enough for me to see. I didn't so I could show you where my dots were. Okay? That's how you do a decimal. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This time, we're not at 0, 0. We have to identify the center and radius again. What's the center for this one?
2,
2, -2. And the radius?
2.
2. Okay, so this time our center is not at 0, 0. It's at 2, -2, right there.
Yes.
And my radius comes 2 to the left, to the right, to the top, to the bottom from that point. So it's going to come 2 out over here, 2 over there, 2 up there, and 2 down there. We're now going to draw our circle carefully, curved with a curve. I have a little tool that can draw circles, but I just wanted to give you the idea that it's not perfect. If you want to use your compass and protractor and compass and your compass, that would be fine.
Yeah, that one's really...
Questions about number 7?
No, no.
All right, let's go on to number 9. This time there's no drawing. There's no identifying. We're going to now go backwards. They are giving you the center and the radius, and they're asking for the equation. The parts that you don't really have to worry about are the parts I'm going to put in here originally. You don't need the x and the y and this parentheses part.
Oh, really?
That part is automatic. I mean, you have to write it, but that's not anything you have to think about because it's just automatically there. Oh, actually, it's not. What some pieces I did, because of the center being at 0, 0, I don't have to have some of this stuff. What parts did I draw extra? The parentheses I don't need, right? I can just do x squared plus y squared. So those I didn't, that's nicer. What about the radius, though?
It's
7.
Careful.
What?
The radius is 14. But what do I put out there?
Whatever 14 times 14.
Whatever 14 times 14 is.
196.
196, I heard. Please verify that.
Yeah, because I did that off the top of my head, not my calculator. So, I can please.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Let's do number 11 now.
Yeah.
All right. This one, we want the equation. Right now, at x squared plus y squared equals 36. What's the center right now? 0, 0. But it's being translated to the left 4 and down 2. So it's going to the left, which is this direction, 4, and down 2. Is this going towards the negatives, the 4, or is it going towards the positives?
Negative.
So when I do this, x, am I going to go put a minus there or a plus there?
A plus.
Yes, because it's going in the opposite, right? So plus 4 squared, right? What about the down 2?
It's still going to be a plus.
A plus? Because these are really down is going towards the negatives, but it's the opposite. So we're going to do plus 2. What about that radius?
It's going to stay 36.
It's going to stay 36. So what you did is you picked up that circle and just moved it over and down, and the new equation looks like that.
Why does the radius say 36?
because this circle right here, you picked up this x squared plus y squared equals 36. You did not squish it or make it bigger. You kept it the same, and you just moved it over 4 and down 2. So the radius didn't change. Okay?
And since there's a square, the way I looked at it, since there's a squared in both equations, since there's squaring both sides,
Oh, I forgot something.
we can leave the 36 not a square root or not a square.
Yeah.
It already is the square.
Those squareds, I had just forgot one, so make sure you didn't forget your squares on there. Okay? All right, let's do, that was the last one of the examples that we're doing to get today.
No,
But
we're
you-
doing 13 and 15.
Oh, that's right, 13 and 15. Thank you. Not to 11. That's right.
Yeah, I was about to say. Figure it out.
Let's do number 13 now. It's again, we want the equation. It's giving you the circle. So it's really going to be helpful for you to do the same thing we've been doing with the center and the radius. Find the center and the radius to help us. What is the center of this circle?
0.
I heard 0, 0. That is true.
Yeah.
What about the radius? I have to measure it. I have to come out. Here's the center, and the radius goes out to here. So how long is that? 5. So now that you know that, what's the equation?
X
X plus
Squared.
y,
X squared plus y squared equals
5.
or
25.
25.
Yes. X squared plus y squared equals 25. Let's do number 15, and that one will be the last one. This time, the center is not at 0, 0. This could be tricky to find the center. What is the center for this
I
one?
just took what I did is I found the lines that were the longest on both. and
Oh, yeah, okay.
traced them. I just
So it's
traced
at,
them.
so where is it at?
2, 3.
Yes, and what I will do once I predict 2, 3 is my center, I will come out here and say 1, 2, 3, okay, and then 1, 2, 3, and then if I've gotten 2 radii that are the same, I have found it, okay?
That's what I did to find it.
So my center is at 2, 3, and my radius is 3. Be careful. I think they probably will, but you need to verify that they're going by ones on this, okay?
They are here.
They kind of are. They've got these little teeny halves in there. So just be careful that you're doing the solid dark lines as your 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now that we know that, what's our equation?
X minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9.
Please confirm that that is true. I think I saw somebody shaking their head.
Yeah.
You agree? Okay. I agree. All right, that concludes this lesson. What you learned today is you now know what the equation of a circle looks like. You know how to do problems to find the equation. You know how to graph it. I hope this has been helpful. Goodbye.